Hello, everyone. Welcome to this podcast. For today's episode, we have Taufik, who is a Chevening alumni. And Taufik, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Zal. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our host for this episode, which is Zal. Okay, so first of all, my name is Ahmad Taufik bin Muhammad Tahir, but people simply call me Taufik. So, for your information, I am a Chevening alumni from 2021 and 2022 cohort, and I pursued my study at the University of Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom, in TESOL, teaching of English to speakers of other languages, and I just recently graduated there last June. So yeah, currently I'm a teacher teaching English language at a secondary school at Papar. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, congratulations on your graduation, by the way.
Thank you, Zal.
Yeah. All right. So for this episode, we are going to talk about. You are going to listen to what Tavik has to say about being a Chevening alumni, and also how teachers out there can also apply for this scholarship if you wish to continue your masters in the UK. Right. So we have somebody here who is a Chevening alumni. Here, yeah, we are going to discuss a lot about his experiences and also how you can, as a teacher, apply for Chevening. All right.
Hopefully.
All right. So let's move on to the first question. How has your experience as a Chevening scholar influenced your professional growth as an educator? And what specific skills or knowledge did you gain during the program that have been particularly valuable in your teaching career?
Okay, thank you for the first question, which is very academic as well. Okay, but coming to think of it, becoming a Chevening scholar in some sort of ways has boosted my confidence in the world of academia. Okay, why do I say it has boosted my confidence in the world of academia? Because prior to this, when I first got posted to my original school, which is I'm still teaching now, I had no idea how to conduct research, mini studies, let alone action research. My only limited knowledge was basically back in my university days, back in my teacher training institutions experience, back in the days when we were doing thesis and those kind of things. Those are the things that I last studied almost 10 years ago. And then when I finally decided to pursue my master's degree through Chevening, I told myself, like, why do I need this scholarship? Because I really wanted to improve myself in the field of academia. That's why throughout 10 years of service before I won the Chevening Scholarship, I had no idea how to conduct mini studies, like I said, even simple questionnaire. So after I won the scholarship, in a way, it has boosted my confidence in the world of academia. And then through my Chevening experience, even though it was only 1 year, I felt that in the span of um, 6 months before I graduated, I have personally honed my research skills. And I felt a boost of confidence in conducting and doing mini action research, doing a case study, which is what I'm currently doing with my students with their consent. And I also learned to participate in conference as a participant and a presenter. And for your information, when I went back almost 6 months ago, oh, by the way, I just want to share. Today is officially my first year of completing my bond with the government because I finished my first year of. I reported for duty last year. This day. So it's been a year, a crazy 1 year. And then that's why after I finished my master's degree, I learned to participate in conference and as a participant and presenter. And my first participation was back on April or in May last time, where I decided to just dip my toe with the field of presentation and conference as a presenter. And then I presented my case study that I did in my university, and Alhamdulillah, which is quite shocking to me. I got the silver award. I had no idea there were awards actually for conferences. So that so these are some of the things that I'm currently learning um, from the Chevening experience after I went back, and then and then I'm currently in KL. Like I said, there was an invitation actually to participate in a classroom-based assessment conference, which will be held 2 days from now. And then I decided to participate. Initially, I decided to participate in order to gain experience as a presenter for a showcase, because I tried to participate. I tried participating as a presenter, but now I felt like, why not I gain another experience by joining the showcase, right? But it turned out when the letter came to JPN Sabah, it's actually a competition. So now I'm quite nervous. So hopefully, it's okay. I think I'll survive it. Okay, I think what's the next question, Zal?
The next
Mm-hmm.
question, I
Mm-hmm.
think you already answered it.
Mm-hmm.
I asked what specific skills or knowledge did you gain during the program. So you
Oh, okay,
mentioned,
okay.
yeah. So you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that you improve yourself in academia, in which you learn about how to conduct mini action research and also doing
Mm-hmm.
case studies. Yeah. So
Yes,
I guess
definitely.
I guess when you are in the university, of course, you need to, especially when you uh, when you continue your masters, of course you will gain all of those things. I mean, yeah, it would be a waste, right, if you don't gain something when you continue a masters in the UK. Yeah. So apart from that, the skills that you have gained and also the knowledge that
Mm-hmm.
you've gained there,
Mm-hmm.
as a teacher leader, because I call you teacher leader because
Ah,
you,
okay.
you did workshops, and
Uh-huh.
I was in that workshop for,
Yes.
yeah, in the district level. Yeah, so you are teacher leader, which reflects what Chevening wants. And
Uh-huh.
so how have you been able to apply the leadership qualities you developed through the Chevening program, even without holding formal higher up positions? Yeah, so I'm not sure if you hold any higher up positions right now, this is regarding before you apply. And
Mm-hmm.
can you share an example of a situation where your leadership skills made a significant impact within your educational community? Maybe within
Okay.
Papar or Sabah, yeah.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question first, which is about how have I been able to apply the leadership qualities that I developed through the Chevening program, even without holding formal higher up positions. I think this is an excellent question, because prior to applying the Chevening scholarship, I doubted myself, because I always had this idea that in order to win the scholarship, I had to hold a few important positions, especially the higher up positions. I thought I had to be like the head of language panel, something like that at school, or maybe the senior administrative assistant. I had that belief that in order to win Chevening scholarship, I had to be someone bigger in at school. But it turned out it wasn't really the case, because Chevening was looking for potential leaders. That's why I would like to bring um, our audience attention to when I first got posted back in Putrajaya, which was exactly 1 year ago, when I first reported for duty after I completed my master's degree. So at that moment, prior to getting posted, receiving my posting, I thought that I was certain that I was going to be posted at an educational department somewhere, if not in JPN, most probably at KPM. And then, in fact, I actually got an invitation an invitation letter as uh, a school inspectorate, Nazir, which I didn't even apply for. And it turned out when I asked the officer in charge, she said my name was given by Putrajaya. But I didn't get it because the interview was supposed to be conducted 1 week before I departed from UK. So I didn't attend the interview session because when I finally reached home here at Malaysia, the interview session was already completed. So back to my story in Putrajaya, I was really confident that I would be posted to any department because some of my friends who already completed the master's degrees overseas, they said, Taufik, when you finally get to Putrajaya, okay, you will be given a choices of places where do you want to get posted, and then they told me that I would be able to choose all these traffic light system, which school do I want to get, but then um, uh, I did not get to do all that because as soon as I went there, I was given a letter. A letter was already prepared for me saying that I was going to be posted back to my original school, which was a shock because not many people get this chance. Like usually when people already left a school, the probability of them uh, being posted to the same school was quite, I wouldn't say rare, but it was quite low. So I think it was a blessing in disguise when I got posted to the same school because I get to start over at the same place that I'm quite familiar with. In a way, the reason why I said I get to start over is because basically after leaving the school for 1 year, many things have changed, and that's why I use the term starting over at the same place. So I felt like by getting posted to the same district, to the same school, it felt like my former responsibilities were literally waiting for me. So that's why after Chevening, I'm able to apply the leadership qualities that I already developed throughout my program by simply, welcoming the same and some new responsibilities at school, as well as the district level. For instance, like in terms of school level, when I got posted last year, it felt like the head of English language panel role was waiting for me. So starting this semester, this term, 2023-2024, I was given the responsibility again to be the head of English language panel. And then for district level, I still continue to hold the same responsibilities that I held previously prior to leaving for my study. So now that I'm back, I was appointed as the Vice of Chief Examiner in Malaysian Education Certificate. I think, Zal, you remember, right? We were teammates for this one. And also
Yeah.
for the national level, yeah, like I said, when I finished my study and then I went back, I told myself I wanted to get back to educational assessment. So it's okay. I will start over as a new marker. And then when my my former chief leader, she knew that I already came back, and she said, "No, you're not going to be just an ordinary marker. You take back your team." Because during my absence, one of my teammates decided to take over the team during my absence, and it turned out when I finished my master's degree, and then she was the one who got her HLP. So it's like there was a transition of role. When I went back, she decided to further her study and she got the HLP. So that's why I felt like there's a blessing in disguise for being posted back to the same school, to the same district, because it felt like all the responsibilities that I left behind were literally waiting for me when I went back. And then I also would like to take this opportunity to dispel the misconception that leadership is confined to official roles. Like I told you earlier when I started answering this question, I thought that I had to be someone bigger, but it turns out Chevening Chevening is actually looking for potential leaders. Simply put, being a leader is quite different than being a manager, right? So I thought all this while, like a leader must be a manager, but it turns out those two things are actually different things. And moving on to the second question, to the next question, an example of a situation where my leadership skills made a significant impact within my educational community. Okay, for your information, this was a funny story to me actually. Why do I say it's quite funny? Because I recently developed an item analysis template for the upper forms because being the head of English language panel, my school entrusted me to teach Form 4 and Form 5. So all this while, I already had the template in my folder since 2020. It was just there waiting to be discovered by someone else. And it turned out during my sharing session with Papa's SISC Plus, and then she was the one who recognized the potential of my item analysis because according to her, my item analysis that I did was a combination of quantitative and qualitative, and which I had no idea what that initially meant until she explained to me. So in a way, I was thankful for Papa SISC Plus because with her suggestions, together we revamped the template and make it user friendly because she saw the potential to be used district wide. And then based on her recommendation, she was the one who suggested me to revamp the template here and there and then make it user friendly. So how how did I make a significant? I'm not sure if this is already a significant impact, but from the analysis, sorry, from the item analysis template, we decided to conduct two sharing sessions. The first one was to equip all the head of English language panel for Papar's district. There are 12 schools. So the first one that we did was after I finally revamped the template. So the first thing that I did was I equipped all the head of English language panels with the knowledge of how to use the template because we are dealing with formulas in Excel, right? So after they were quite familiar with the template, the next thing that we did was we call all Form 4 and Form 5 English teachers. And then I did the same thing by giving them a briefing of how to use the template. And then that was for my part, but from the SISC Plus, okay, Madam Is, she took the initiative to brief the senior administrative assistant together with the school principal of all school in Papar district and encourage them to use the template that we did. Um, she said that she encouraged all the school principals and the senior administrative assistant to encourage their English teachers to keep using the template in order to make data driven decision. While I personally used the template for evidence based decision. So these are some of the academic terms that I learned being a Chevening scholar, so called. So like the SIC Plus, she had her goals, which was to empower the the head of English language panels, as well as the English teachers in Papar to make data-driven decision by using the template in order to come up with their own intervention. You know, like after examination, we have to come up with our postmortem and so on, right? So by using the template, they would be able to make a data-driven decision. And I think when it comes to the impact, we haven't quite seen the impact yet. But personally, when it comes to impact, I would consider tangible impact and non-tangible impact. So that's why maybe this is a project that I still have to uh, how do I say it? To have a follow up with the English teachers in Papar, and maybe this can also be another project for me to present somewhere in a conference because I think it's a chain reaction. You know, that's why I find it funny because all this while the template was there in my laptop and I just use it for my panel. And then it was not until the SIC Plus took notice of it and then said, you know what, let's revamp this template and because I saw the potential that it can bring. So yeah, that's an example of a recent situation after I come back from my master's degree. where I think my leadership skill made a significant impact within the educational community in my district. Over to you, Zel.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So it seems like there's a huge difference, because when you applied for Chevening, you did not hold any formal leadership position.
Yes, true.
Yeah, but after you came back from the UK, you suddenly have all of these responsibilities. But those are, I think, because you have that potential as a leader, and Chevening saw that in you. That's why you were chosen, from your
Oh,
essays and
thank you,
from your
Zel.
yeah, from your interviews. So they saw that potential in you. So I think Chevening has
Mhm.
made a great investment when they
Oh,
selected you. Yeah,
thank
to
you.
take up the scholarship. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I believe, yeah, you were holding a lot of. You told me about your leadership positions here and there in your
Mhm.
school, not only in your school but also the district, and then
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of roles. Yeah, so and also your, I would say it's one of your innovations for
Mhm.
in terms of item analysis, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that one you'll see how the impact will be. But personally, I attended your I attended your briefing on that
Yeah.
item analysis. Yeah, so from when I used it, I could see which one I should uh, refine, or
Uh-huh.
which part of the paper that I should focus on, so that my students will at least pass. Yeah. So I
True.
believe,
See, you are using the data-driven decision. Thank you,
yes, I
Zal.
believe I believe this is one of the impact. Yeah. All right. So um the next question, in
Mhm.
your opinion, what are some essential leadership qualities that teachers should cultivate to become effective teacher leaders? Because now I see you are not only a teacher teaching in a school, but also you are leading
Mhm.
a lot of like a lot of things, a lot of
Mhm.
leadership positions. So,
Mhm.
and also, how has Chevening equipped you with the skills to embody these qualities in your role as an educator? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Zal. So I'm going to answer. I'm going to divide these questions into two. So I'm going to answer the first one. So some essential leadership qualities that teachers should cultivate to become effective teacher leaders. So when I first read this question, I immediately thought of the answer that I did during my interview session with the panel of interviews for my Chevening scholarship. So basically, I feel I know that there are if we Google this, there are many essential leadership qualities. But personally, I always stick with these three P's that I hold on to, which is the first P is passionate, the second one is persuasive, and the third one is proactive. Okay, why do I say uh, uh, passionate is one of the leadership qualities that teachers should cultivate so that they can become effective teacher leaders? Because if you are being passionate with your responsibilities, you are the passion will drive you to move forward, meaning that like teachers not really teachers, I mean humans in general, when they have passion for something, the passion will drive them to move forward, to go beyond the ordinary things that they wouldn't normally do. So I think having a passion towards your responsibility is one of an essential leadership qualities, because I wouldn't say that I am a living example of it, but by what I'm trying to say is that by having a passion, you see, like even after I finished my Chevening experience, I could have just said to myself, well, I did it, and now um, what's next? That's why I think it was all stemmed from my passion to continue um, playing an active role, being in an academic world. So that's why I tell myself, why not participate in all these conferences, at the same time gaining experience, and then I think all of this uh, come down to passion. And then the second one is being persuasive. So as a teacher, as a teacher leader, an effective one, so you must be able to persuade um, people around, I wouldn't say people around you, like when when I have my own self reflection, I always tell myself, like, for my English language panel at my school, since I'm the head of English language panel, I try to be as persuasive as I can with my panel, so that they could see that, how do I say it? What I'm trying to say is that an effective teacher leaders should be persuasive. You know, like when uh, how do I put it? When the teachers, like, for instance, motivational skills. As a teacher leader, you can be persuasive in giving them motivational support. You know, like, telling them all the positive and motivational words, so that they will be able to look up to you, and then they will be persuaded by you to keep doing what you can. Because if you are simply a teacher leader without the ability to persuade others, so it might it I it might be that you might have all these wonderful ideas that you're going to carry out, but if no one's going to listen to you, then who will? All right. So that's my point. For the third one is, you must be proactive. Being proactive means you must be able to lead by examples. So if you want people to do something, or other teachers to do something, why not, instead of asking them to do first, you lead first, lead by examples. I think one of the reasons as well why I try to improve myself in the I keep making this academia world, because after I finish my scholarship and then my master's degree, that's the only way to go through. Like, people keep telling me, why not you continue the next stage, PhD or something like that. But that is a long way to go. But in order to do that, you have to immerse yourself in the world of academia, right? So that's why one of the reasons why I keep attending all these conferences is because I personally try to be proactive, and I want to lead by example, so that when I have experience in all this conference, I somehow believe that I might be able to motivate or inspire at least one other teacher in my community, like, who maybe they are interested to participate in this kind of conference, but like, teachers sometimes they tend to keep things to themselves, and they don't have any guidance. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I will be able to guide them, but with all the experiences that I am gaining, so perhaps I can give some insights on where to start. Like, an effective teacher leader should be able to lead others by example, right? So at least, while improving yourself, you are also making an impact to the community of English language teachers. So that's why I think, personally for me, I really hold on to these three P's. The first one is passionate, persuasive, and also being proactive by leading by examples. And the second question just now was, what was the question again? The second one?
Yeah. How has Chevening equipped you with the skills to embody these qualities in your role as an educator?
Okay. In order to answer this question, I would like to share another experience that I gained during my tenure as 1 year tenure as a Chevening Scholar. So we all know that Cheveners are welcome to participate in volunteering events throughout the year. Um, but I was mainly focused on becoming the student representative for my cohort. So when I first arrived at Scotland and at Glasgow, I told to myself, all this while I've been asking my students to volunteer, to volunteer, to volunteer, and now it's time for me to show that by being a student, I also must volunteer. That's why when the program coordinator was looking for student representative, I quickly volunteered myself, and not luckily, thankfully, I got it. And then there were a few Cheveners as well that I knew who became the representative of their respective course. So by being the student representative there, I underwent a few training workshops, which truly opened my eyes about cross-cultural understanding and inclusive classroom. I think this was something new to me. Why do I say that? Like, it truly opened my eyes about cross-cultural understanding as well as inclusive classroom, because like I said, I my first my first posting until now was at Islamic secondary school. So um, um, the students there, so basically they are all just Muslims. So I didn't get to experience this cultural diversity, not in a sense that. But what I'm trying to say is that the experience that I gained as the student representative there truly opened my eyes about cross cultural understanding and also inclusive classroom. I still remember because there was this one issue in semester two, whereby a few of my Muslim male classmates, actually that also included me, we were not able to attend the first two dissertation workshops since the time clashed with the Friday prayer. So I truly felt guilty about that, but I thought to myself, like, so with this responsibility as a student representative for my cohort, I thought I would be able to do something. So, and it turned out, yes, it could be done. I was able to effectively communicate this issue during the student staff liaison committee meeting. During the discussion, I highlighted the problem of this schedule clashing with the time for Friday prayer. And then after the discussion, I was able to convince our program coordinator to change the timing of the workshop, which was eventually conducted from Friday. It was eventually moved from Friday to Monday evening, so that everyone was able to participate in the workshop. So in a way, the program coordinator, they by moving the schedule from Friday to Monday, I thought to myself, this is an example of a community that is fostering a more inclusive classrooms, because like back in the days, every in the second semester, we were actually transitioning from online classes to face-to-face classes. But for this dissertation workshop, so it was conducted online at first, but then there was no recording, and then after the meeting, a recording was provided. But actually, even though I simply thought to myself, the recording itself can be a good solution to address this problem, right? But after I brought this matter to the meeting, they still proceed. They still proceeded with the recording and make it and made it accessible to all students. And they also decided to move the workshop from Friday to Monday. So I thought to myself, like, oh, okay, this truly opened my eyes that like about cross cultural understanding, and also they are trying to be inclusive with students, inclusive in the classroom in order to tap into the potential of each student. So I think that is how Chevening has equipped me with the skills to embody all the three P's by being passionate, persuasive, and proactive in my role as an educator. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, wow, interesting. Yeah, so well, basically, you applied the three P's in your current position, okay, and
Uh-huh.
also the three P's when you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone was busy trying to, like, gaining all the volunteering timers, like, because they will, Shivering will award those with the highest community service, right? But I set my eyes on something else. I really wanted that student representative, so I got it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good that your university has that, and you were
Mm-hmm.
able to take on that opportunity and to
Mm-hmm.
develop yourself as a leader as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. True.
yeah. All right. So the next question. Okay, so we move on to networking and
Okay.
collaboration because
Mhm.
these are the essential aspects of the Chevening program. It's in the
Definitely.
essay, and also it's in the
Mhm.
interview, right? So,
Mhm.
how have your connections and interactions with other scholars and professionals from diverse background influenced your approach to teaching and teacher leadership? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as highlighted, this is a very important aspect in the Chevening application, and as well as during the interview. So during my time, in hindsight, when I reflect back in terms of teaching, I've personally shifted my perspective to accept that English is becoming a globalized language, and it's about time that we recognize its global spread and diversity. I had this perception when I did my essays. I thought with the implementation of CFR in our English language curriculum, I thought it's like this is the perfect time to go to the UK and then to have access to their materials in the secondary schools and see what they are teaching, because we are emulating their educational system, right? So when I arrived there, I was quite surprised. It wasn't really the case, because especially after knowing this optional course, it's abbreviated as TEIL, Teaching English as an International Language. Through this optional course, I learned that there are calls for a paradigm shift away from native speaking norms in order to ensure the 21st century TESOL curriculum uh, meets the needs of those learning English as a global language. So basically, it's I have this preconceived idea that okay, I have to go to the UK because I want to learn I want to gain as many experience as learning the Queen's English, but my expectation fell short because people over there, they spoke various accents, various dialects, and then being in Scotland, so the higher you go in the UK, their accent can sometimes be quite uh, uh, uncomprehensible. In my opinion, I kept asking them to repeat, so that's why I was like, so coming there, I thought everyone spoke Queen's English, but that's not the case. So at the end of the day, through my connections and interactions with other scholars and also from professionals, my professors, my mentors, it truly opened my eyes that at the end of the day, when it comes to teaching English, intelligibility is all that matters. Intelligibility is an academic term for the ability to understand what a person is speaking or saying. So, of course, I personally believe that the Queen's English is widely known as the standard English, but through my interactions, with my professors, my other scholars and professionals from diverse backgrounds, I no longer felt the need to be nitpicky. So about standard English, but I also celebrate the diversity it brings. So I still remember last time during when I before my Chevening experience, I often, like not really ridicule. Ridicule is a very strong word. Making fun. I would say making fun of students who uh, uh, pronounce certain words wrongly. But then it turned out like in the UK they also have distinctive ways of expressing different pronunciation. For instance, like here we call it menu. In my experience, I heard them saying menu. So like those kind of things, it truly opened my eyes that when it comes to English, intelligibility is all that matters. But of course, for the purpose of examination, we always come back to the standard of Queen's English, right? But I'm no longer very nitpicky about like the everything must be correct. This is the correct pronunciation here and there. So and also in terms of teacher leadership, I continue to engage in local collaboration. When I say local collaboration, means that I keep contributing in my district level, in my school level, But at the same time, I am also taking my steps to seek opportunities for international collaboration. So this is, I think, the one of the influence that I gain based on my connections and interactions with other scholars, because we are talking about networking, right? So I am taking my steps to seek opportunities for international collaboration, because I felt that I have developed an interest for internationalization of education. But let's be realistic here, lah. I think, although it would be wonderful to have international collaboration, I still have a lot to learn, particularly when it comes to bureaucracy and logistics, because you cannot just simply, it's not really cannot. Perhaps in order to do an international collaboration with other scholars from different countries, perhaps you have to consider a few aspects on it, aspects of it. For instance, like in terms of bureaucracy and then logistics, are you going to handle everything alone? Like, will it be approved by the appropriate officers? So I also have to consider the impact of the project to the teacher community. So will it just benefit my students, or if it's done in a global scale, will it benefit more people in my community? But at the end of the day, that's the beauty of it. I think everything is a learning process. So yeah, that's how my interaction with other scholars from different backgrounds has influenced me in terms of my teaching, and then also teachers leadership.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for that. So you meant, okay, there was this one thing that really caught my attention, which
Uh-huh.
was you said English is, I mean, even in the UK, they have different accents of English and some are unintelligible. Yeah,
Yes, true.
yeah, and I remember in the CFR in the rubric,
Mhm.
it was written there for someone to get band six, they must speak like a native speaker, and I think
Uh-huh.
that statement it caused a lot of a debate because
True,
what is
true.
considered as a native speaker? Like for Scottish, it's native to a Scottish, but for us, we it's unintelligible for us. And then in the
Yes,
US,
that's the
we have
thing.
we have the generic American accent. For them, that's native, right? So,
Yeah.
what does it mean by native speaker? So, so recently I heard that during the conference that I attended, they have
Mm-hmm.
already removed that statement. Yeah,
Ah.
they only stated there fluently, as in there were no stops, no hesitations, and all that in terms of speaking.
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess.
It's a good thing, right? Because at least they are, with all these changes, they are recognizing that English is an international language. That's why I think that the optional course is quite interesting, because it shattered a few perspective that we, like forever held before, and then after knowing it, I was like, oh, that's not the case here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So your experience was, I mean, it was fruitful because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it helps to shatter your own preconceived notion of of how English should be taught or spoken or written and all that, right?
Yes, definitely.
Uh, all right. So the next question: have you implemented any innovative ideas or practices as a result of these collaborations?
Okay, so there are projects being made at the time of speaking, but everything is still in the planning phase. So back in April, I was actually approached by the TESOL alumni of my program from University of Glasgow. They invited me to join one of the branches or committees as a coordinator of a TESOL association in Glasgow. I forgot the name of the association. Something about LNet. Since Because I participated in their 2-day augural online conference, which involved presenters from all over the world. So when it turned out that one of the organizers was actually one of the student representative for TESOL. So because in our program there are various there are MSCs, there are MEDs, right? So she was one of the student representatives. So When she saw me, she said like, "Oh, hi Taufik. It's been a while. How has it been going back home?" Because that particular student, she continued her educational journey. I think she's pursuing her PhD now. So that's why she said like, will you be interested in joining our organization as one of the committees or coordinators or or simply a member? So yeah, at the time of speaking, I'm looking forward to what it might bring because like I said, having international collaboration would be very very interesting, but I also have to consider a lot of aspects because my responsibilities now is quite heavy. My responsibilities now are quite heavy, so that's why I think I'll come back. I'm interested, but I'm looking forward to what it might bring. And I also have another plan to conduct students exchange in collaboration with an Islamic institution in West Java for immersive educational system for both countries lah, Malaysian and also Indonesian. She was actually my former course mates because she was posted as a lecturer in West Java. So she decided to reach out like quite a few months ago, and then we came up this a plan to conduct students exchange for immersive educational system of both countries, which will involve sit-in program where they will send a few of their students to my school, and then uh, if possible, we are also going to send a few of our students to their institution. And then we are also going to have teaching practice and cultural sharing session. But again, everything is still in the embryonic stage since my school principal has just retired last week. So everything is still pending, still in the discussion phase. So because I'm not sure if there is a new principal coming in, I have to pitch in this idea. So I have, like I said, bureaucracy, right? I have to go to the appropriate channel in order to do this bigger scale. So yeah, I think those are some of the innovative ideas that are still pending.
Yeah, I guess we had a similar idea because I was
Mm-hmm.
with Fulbright, right? But I was only there for
Ah.
seven months. Yeah, so when I came back, I had this idea of collaborating with my fellows as well, my former fellows.
Mm-hmm.
Last one I did with Russia, and this year
Mm-hmm.
Russia and then India. And
Oh,
yeah, so that
amazing.
was, yeah, but that was only online. And like you said,
Oh,
there are a lot of like logistical and bureaucratic considerations that we need to think
mm-hmm.
of. So the only cheapest way for us to do that
Yeah.
was online. And at
True,
the same time,
true.
yeah, but because it's to focus on language, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we can only communicate through English. So
True.
it gives my students the opportunity to only write in English and, yeah,
Ah.
and communicate with them. So yeah, yeah, it's quite similar. But I guess yours would be a physical one, yeah, in person
Yeah.
one. Yeah, so
Hopefully,
that,
hopefully.
yeah, so that requires like a lot of logistics and bureaucratic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
True,
understand.
true.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. I think it's because we were exposed to this international,
Yeah.
international programs, and
From true, true.
we went to another country and we want to come back,
Mm-hmm.
and of course we want to uh,
Give
collaborate and
back, right?
also, yeah, give back, and then to contribute, to for our school and our students especially.
True,
So we
definitely.
came up with something lah, and that's what we
Mm-hmm.
can come up with, which is great. Yeah. So yeah,
Definitely,
I, I
definitely.
I can relate to your innovative ideas lah.
So hopefully, one of our audience for this episode, hopefully they are inspired to do something like this if they eventually win the scholarship. So hopefully, keep in touch with us. Okay.
Yes, yes, please. All right.
Okay.
So next question, the
Mm-hmm.
last one.
Mm-hmm.
So any advice for teachers out there who aspire to apply for the Chevening Scholarship, and what kind of mindset they should have?
Okay, so there are two questions in this particular question. So I'm going to answer the first one. So advice for teachers out there who aspire to apply the Chevening scholarship. I would say go for it. Okay, because time waits for no man. I when I initially I applied for Chevening back in 2014, but something happened there. I waited for the final hour to submit my application, and then I forgot about the difference of the time zone. So I told to myself, okay, on Monday I'm going to submit my application. I'm going to do all these prayers first, so that when I'm finally at school, I will press the send button, and then okay, it will be delivered. And then the morning came when I was finally ready to submit it, and then I forgot about the time zone. It was already closed the night before, so that's why I didn't recover from that. Because I put so many thoughts and souls, but perhaps it wasn't my time. So that's why, for any one of you who is aspiring to apply for the Chevening Scholarship, go for it, and then but know yourself first and do some soul searching. Okay, because when you are writing the essays, you have to do some soul searching, and you also have to know who you are at this stage of your life. And then I would also like to remind you that always remind yourself the reason why you are applying, because when the tough gets going, mind you, the tough will gets going. The tough will get going. So knowing the reason will be a constant motivation for you to pull through. So remember, you're about to put yourself in a soul searching process in a period of not 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and the waiting parts. Like it will take a toll on our mental health. So do some soul searching, know yourself, and I'd say go for it. I know this might sound a little bit cringy, but I would like to say that I'm a living example of dreams do come true. Hey, hey. And also, on the other hand, let's be real. Winning the scholarship means you'll be spending 1 year of your time in the world of academia. So this, when I look back, I always have these what ifs, because when I won the scholarship back then, I was very occupied of wanting to complete my nota seratugas, because I held quite a few positions back then. So when I finally got the scholarship and I got my leave of absence to study, so my mindset was all in the process of completing the job at school, that I forgot that I was about to enter the world of academia. So imagine my experience, the first month of being in the world of academia, where I have to, like write assignments, make citations, do a lot of readings. It definitely um, uh, I wouldn't say demotivated me. It made me realize that I wasn't really prepared for the world of academia coming to study there. So that's why my advice is, while you are applying for the scholarship, make sure you are ready to face the world of academia again. Because in my case, I completed my bachelor's degree back in 2011. So in 10 years later, when I pursue my master's degree, it's been quite a while. So it took me quite a few months to gear up. And then and also remember, while it might be rainbows and butterflies in winning the scholarship, your performance and education always comes first, because the end goal is to come back with a master's degree. So the rest of the Chevening experience is a bonus, I would say. So make sure you choose your course carefully, because if you choose the wrong course, you are going to study, you are going to do all the assignments there. So spend quite some time to choose your course carefully. And then the last question is about mindset, right? Mindset of what you should have prior to applying. Um, this is from my experience, my personal experience. So I would I would say that the scholarship is a means to an end, not an end in itself. So simply put, winning the scholarship is one way to achieve your goal. So if your goal is having a master's degree, So this is an avenue for you to try, not the goal in itself. So like that's why I said like throughout this episode, I keep emphasizing myself that winning Chevening is not the end goal. Okay, that is just an avenue for me to improve myself and get my master's degree. And then that's why when I applied for Chevening, my mindset was that the scholarship is a stepping stone for me to gain knowledge in a higher level so that I can make full use of the knowledge to give back to my community. So I always believe in the cycle of what you gain, you give back. Okay, so that's why if you win the scholarship, hopefully you will be able to give back to your community one day. And also, perhaps this is also a reason why the final essay, the fourth essay, I think, is an outline of your short term and long term career. When you start writing your essays, always have the mindset that winning the scholarship will help you give back to the community. So, while it might be true that the credibility of being a Chevener might help elevate your status and position in some ways, which is good, this one is like, when I mentioned just now that I got an offer to attend an interview to become a school inspectorate. But at the end of the day, always go back to the idea of giving back to the community when you apply for Chevening Scholarship, because this is simply um, uh, a one way to achieve your goal, which is to get a master's degree. So yeah, I think that's my piece of advice for those uh, who intend to apply. So you should have this kind of mindset prior to applying. Okay, Zal.
All right, thank you. But another extra question.
Oh,
How
okay.
about how about those who applied but did not get selected? What are your
uh,
advice for them? Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of I'm sure there are a lot of teachers who have tried, but they
mhm.
failed. Yeah. So any advice for them?
Yes, definitely. In fact, I knew quite a few of them. So yeah, I would say if this is a dream, that it always comes back to my statement just now. The scholarship is a means to an end, not an end itself. So if your dream is to pursue a master's degree in the UK, and then you've been trying this for quite some time, and then uh, your time has not come yet, keep on applying, keep on improving, like keep in touch with the scholars that and then learn something from them. Maybe seek for their assistance, attend the workshop organized by Chevening. So, like for in Sabah, they are going to conduct a few sessions prior to before the application is open. So, like I said, if this pursuing a master's degree is your dream, so each failures to get failures to get the scholarship as of yet should not break your soul. But yeah, that's my piece of advice. If this is your dream, go for it. Okay, but don't get demotivated easily, because this is just the application pace. Yeah, I think uh the application is already rigorous, but imagine when you finally win the scholarship and you have to be away for 1 year, and then you are going to enter the world of academia, where like the system is quite different from what we have here in Malaysia. So that's another level. So that's why I said, always come back to the reason why you are applying for this scholarship. Always know the reason, because by knowing the reason why you keep on holding on, hopefully it will always inspire you to pursue your dream and then not give up. Okay. Okay, I think that's my piece of advice.
Yes, thank you for
Mhm.
that motivational talk. Topic. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. Speaking of failures, to all
Uh-huh.
the audience out there,
Mhm.
to all the listeners out there, I
Mhm.
was one of the failures. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but I failed the interview. I did not. I got through the application, the essay application process, but failed the interview.
Mhm.
So what Taufik
Mhm.
said here was quite meaningful, very meaningful. So cheating
Oh,
is just a means to an end. So when
true.
he said that, I remember during the time when I applied, because
Mhm.
cheating, they focus on those four aspects, right? So
Yeah.
with that four aspects, although I failed. I failed the interview. Okay, but it's no shame, no shame.
Uh-huh.
Although I failed the interview, but with those four aspects,
Mhm.
um, I used those four as a framework for me to develop myself as a leader. That's what I
Mhm.
did. Even though I did not pass
Get the
the
title.
yeah, I did not get the
Yeah.
scholarship and all that.
Uh-huh.
Um, it
In a
I,
way, you won.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In a way, I won.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to put a positive spin to it. But
Yes, definitely.
so for those of you who have tried but maybe failed, or maybe if you fail, just
Mhm.
remember that, yeah, like what Taufik said, it's a means to an end. So
Mhm.
during the application process, it was also a journey for you to really discover what you want, to discover yourself as
True.
a leader and all that. And my advice to you, use that four aspects of the application to develop yourself as a leader, because that's what I
Mhm.
did. Although
Oh.
I might not have any intentions of applying for Chevening,
Uh, okay.
but who knows, right? But
Yeah, definitely. Who knows?
I always, yeah, always remember those four. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. In terms of what I lead in my leadership journey. Yeah,
Yes,
that,
definitely. That's
yeah.
why
So
I want to highlight to the audience of this episode. So like in a way, Zal also won something from the experience of going through the process of application and being selected for interview. Even though at the end of the day she didn't get the scholarship, but in a way it's a win-win situation for her because I'm sure you gain a lot from the experience, right?
yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think that's it.
Yeah,
Our
it's been a fruitful
episode.
discussion, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, it has. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to this episode. To those of you who are planning to apply, all the best, and just remember what Tofik has mentioned in this podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
So to all the audience, to all the listeners out there, thank you for listening.
Okay, thank
Goodbye.
you. Okay, goodbye. Thank you, Zal.